Go get it in your chair.
Sounds like potatoes cooking. It's more than it does a fire. Not that I've got a one-track mind or anything.
Good morning. Happy Christmas, Anne.
Happy Christmas, everyone.
Nice to see you and everyone else as well. Did you know that in England they don't say Merry Christmas? They say Happy Christmas?
Merry New Year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And why is that again?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, that's certainly not what you've told me in the past.
I can't remember.
Oh, in the past you told me you don't say Merry Christmas because Merry implies excessive drinking.
Oh.
Maybe you made that up.
I don't know if I remember.
Okay. Well, at any rate, Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas. It is December 25th, so I guess we're here. I have my mug filled with my cocoa from earlier this week, and I hope you've been drinking cocoa with me all week. You know, if you have the flu and you drink cocoa, there's absolutely no weight gain because it's all you're doing. So I feel pretty good about it.
I have my Nescafe Classico and powdered creamer.
Yum.
I know how to live.
We have a little fire going in the background. Actually, that's a total lie. I'm going to just explain it to you. It's a YouTube video of a fireplace, but it's so robust it sounds like the house is on fire. So I just didn't want you to be concerned. We will build a fire later today, but we haven't yet. But we thought it would be fun to have some crackling. And I finally feel better. So
Yay!
yeah, I don't feel great, but I feel like I'm back to the land of the living. So that's a nice little Christmas surprise. So it's Challenge Friday, and we thought we would start with a challenge, but in the spirit of the day, we didn't want to end on the challenge because it's kind of bleak. So Dr. Mary's going to lead you in a little bit of an alcohol use disorder audit.
Yes. Just the thing you
Yay!
want to, just the thing to wake up to on Christmas Day. But it is important. We have talked about this a lot, and we talked about this week. And you know, these things are reasonably accurate. Well, they are actually quite accurate. But the idea is you do it once, and then you redo it, and don't lie, and then double your answer, and that should give you the truth. So anyway, I'm just going to go through a couple of these, and there's hundreds of these things out there.
We'll post one on the comments.
But this one is from a recovery centre to ask you that very important question: are you concerned about how much you drink? It doesn't even say "are you an alcoholic" in the title. It's just it's a good way to understand there is a danger to binge drinking too. Binge drinking, which sometimes doesn't lead to alcoholism, can be quite damaging to your health.
Let me turn down the fire. Where's your volume? It's pretty.
Shh, Lily.
Stop. It's all happening here, folks.
There we go.
Thank you. Okay.
Here's a question for you. How often during the past year have you failed to do what is normally expected of you because of your drinking? Never. Less than monthly, weekly, less daily or almost daily. And they're
Weighted
numbered
by score.
but by score from 0 for never to 4 for daily or almost daily. I'll just give you a couple of these. How often during the past year have you felt guilty or remorseful after drinking? Never. Less than monthly. All these are monthly, weekly, daily or almost daily are your responses. So I'm just going to read off some of the questions. How often during the past year have you found that you drank more or have drunk longer than you intended? Which is always, especially this time of year. I mean, we did talk about that the other day about, it's Christmas being the universal excuse of actually drinking more.
Well, also it gets dark so much earlier, so you're inside for longer periods of the day, and people tend to, that's an assumption. But I mean, in our case, you tended to build a fire and then maybe start drinking earlier.
You know, there's a town in Norway, northern Norway, that actually does get in December not much sunshine at all. And what the town,
That's all of Norway.
what
but-
the town did in their city centre, or town centre, I should say, they redesigned it over the summer, and in the winter, when it came to Christmas, to curb people who just locked themselves up and drinking, they opened the whole thing up. They had the cafes had little places outside. The city paid for those gas heaters everywhere, and it was family outside drinking and snacks, and it got everyone together. And they found out that when everyone got together outside and stayed warm as a family unit, they all drank less.
You know, Iceland has totally turned around their teenage suicide rate for the same thing. There was incredible amounts of alcohol consumption in Iceland, and they attributed it to all of their dark. And they started building in community family gatherings and really being culturally conscious of family time as opposed to individual time. And they've seen their teen suicide rate plummet, which is incredible. Can I say something else before
Yeah.
you read another one? I think that also you could adapt these questions to fit sort of any of the things that you are feeling shameful about. Now, let's take, for example, excessive shopping. You're an online shopper. Well, that's not going to probably keep you from performing daily tasks. You're not going to wake up the next morning and be hungover from excessive shopping, but it might keep you from being able to pay bills. It might keep you from being able to be as generous as you'd like to be. So adapt them as it makes sense to whatever you might think you could potentially be struggling with.
I'm just going to do two more because it is Christmas Day.
Then we're going to read
morning.
some Christmas stories.
This one's important, actually. I was explaining the importance of this one. I'll tell you about it in a sec. How often during the past year have you been unable to remember what happened the night before because of your drinking? Now, everyone's on there goes, oh my God, you know, it's a big, people laugh about it, but it is actually a huge problem. If you black out, which is what this question is actually blatantly asking you, that is because you've had so much alcohol, your brain shuts your body down to protect your body. So that's why you can't remember. It's not, hey, I had a lot to drink, I must have had a great time. You didn't.
So can I ask you, all the times that you would pass out on the couch, that was not blacking out?
No, that was me falling asleep. That's different.
Okay. Because
Well,
alcohol...
if one, but it's not, you know, if you drink so much you fall asleep, or if you drink so much you black out. I mean, there's two. One is more dangerous than the other. The blacking out one is, because sometimes if you black out, you're still moving.
Oh. Wow.
The last one, though, has a relative, friend, doctor, or healthcare worker been concerned about your drinking or suggested that you cut down? That's the point to which you get to, that if you ignore that kind of advice, then you do tend to have a drinking problem. So they're just, if we post this, when we post this link, there's just 10 questions. Do it, and like I said, they're numbered. Do it once, then do it again and not lie, and then do it a third time and then double your answer, and that should give you an accurate idea of what your actual score is. We're not trying to scare everyone, it's Christmas, but it is
Or
something.
shame anyone.
Or shame anyone, it's just something to be aware of. And sometimes self-help helps. You don't have to reach a precipice to get help. You can actually, at some point, if you look at this and take it serious enough, you can actually help yourself.
Yeah, a number of our guests did not have to
No.
go to rehab. They
Right.
figured out how to stop through other means of treatment or other avenues. So Maz's path is not the only path
No.
to sobriety.
In fact, if you could do
certainly.
it this way, I'll have the greatest respect for you. And you know, we
Yeah.
talk about this in AA, and we all say, God, I wish we could have done that.
Yeah, you couldn't have done this. I don't believe.
So they're everywhere. They're in magazines. Next time you go to the dentist or going to get your hair cut, or sitting in a doctor's reception or something, just pick up a magazine. This time of year, they'll be in all of them. Flick through them, take the test.
or take it online.
Or take it online.
All right, let's set aside that challenge. Thank you for finding that test, though. I think it's interesting. Actually, the thing I found most interesting about that test is it asks you to assess a year. You know, because if you've had 1 week of excessive drinking, I'm not sure that you can say, oh my gosh, I'm clearly on the path to alcohol and ruin. It might have been just one blipped week.
That's the whole point. Be honest.
Yeah, and look at a long period of time. Okay, my challenge for you today is to spend a little bit of time today, since almost all of us are not having the traditional kind of Christmas we would have expected to have. I mean, our boy's not with us. I had a little cry about that this morning. We're not seeing any of our parents. It's just us. You're looking at Christmas at the Del Val Mary household.
We're not moving from here. We've got a microwave over there, a couple of meals in it.
Yeah, we're going to put some potatoes on the fire and we'll be good to go. Anyway, spend some time today reflecting on what are your favorite Christmas memories?
Oh, this is good. I like this.
And you can write them, you can think about them, you can go back and find pictures of them, whatever you want to do. But I think we all have various moments of our past Christmases, and it doesn't need to be just one continuous Christmas. But just think about your favorite memories, and then stop and think about, was it the presents? Was it the stuff? Or was it the people and the experiences that made it so fabulous? Because I think you're going to discover it's almost never the presents. It's almost never about how much money you spent. It's almost always about the people you were with and the experiences that you shared. So I want to read you a book from my childhood. These books by an author named Tasha Tudor, and I will bring it close enough so you can see the images. These books, she wrote a whole ton of books, and my grandma introduced all of us to Tasha Tudor, but this book is just almost more magical than I can stand. So I'll read the page, and then I will show you the pictures. Christmas comes in cold December to warm our hearts with kindly thoughts. It is a time for giving and doing for others, a time of joyous preparation, making presents, cooking and baking, trimming the home with evergreens, and setting up the beautiful tree in remembrance of Christ's birth in Bethlehem 2,000 years ago. So you can imagine, this book came out in 1979, so that was right before my 7th birthday. You can imagine how magical this book felt. Oh, so sweet.
I feel smart. I couldn't find a pop-up alcohol quiz. I'm sorry.
An advent calendar is one of the many pleasures preceding Christmas.
It really is an advent calendar.
Each day, open a door, beginning with number 1 on the first day of December. Never peek, for it brings bad luck.
Oh,
you know what surprised me when I looked at this morning? This is the advent calendar I remembered from my childhood. I did not remember that it was in this book. Can you see the little tabs? Here, let me open one for you. Oh, here's one. I mean, we're way past one, but we'll just start there. I don't want to break the luck. So in 1, there's a tiny little owl. Hello, little owl. All right. Nearly every country has a traditional way of celebrating Christmas. In Holland and parts of France, on the 6th of December, children put out their wooden shoes for St. Nicholas to fill. In Sweden, St. Lucia's Day, December 13th, has become part of the Yule festivities. On this day, the youngest daughter is chosen to be Lucia. She rises early in the morning and brings hot coffee and saffron buns to the rest of the family. She wears a long white gown and on her head, a crown of lighted candles. That seems like a terrible idea, even though it's beautiful. In some countries, as in the United States and England, children hang up their stockings on the night before Christmas and hope that Santa Claus or Father Christmas will come in the night and put presents in them. The festival of Christmas in the dark chill of winter comes as a promise that light and warmth will return. How lovely the thought that Christ's birth centuries ago still brings people together in love and friendliness in his memory. May we never forget that Christmas commemorates love, peace, goodwill. So here's the Holland and France. I don't know if I can do this. I'm so left-hand dominant, it's hard for me to do anything else. And here's the little St. Lucia girl. Now let me go back to this hand. Look at that. Again, think about, particularly in the 70s, this was way pre-internet. This book was incredible. And there's the little stockings. There were shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for I bring you good tidings of great joy. For unto you is born this day a Savior, Christ the Lord. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. Gloria in excelsis Deo. I wish our Bethlehem star had looked like that. Ours did not look quite that crystal clear. There came 3 wise men asking, Where is he that is born this night? For we have seen his star shining in the sky, and we have come to worship him. And lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. Sorry about the reflection. Oh, she's a beautiful illustrator. Hark, the herald angels sing, Glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful, all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With the angelic host proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Anybody want to guess who wrote that song? This shocked me, or at least wrote the lyrics. Maybe he didn't write the melody, but he wrote the poem. I'll tell you in a minute. And when the wise men were come into the stable, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him, and presented unto him gifts. Isn't that so beautiful? So that's like a little community living nativity. Did anybody do those when they were little? I did. I can just see myself wearing my really very ugly red snowsuit with an angel costume over it, standing outside freezing. But it felt pretty magical, and is probably in part why I'm an actor today. All right, any guesses on who wrote the lyrics to Hark the Herald Angels Sing? He must have also written the music. My mother must not be watching. Felix Mendelssohn. Who knew? And then I want to show you one more thing. I know we're going long, but it's Christmas morning. This is another Tasha Tudor book. This is a book of all of the months called A Time to Keep. This is maybe her most magical book. But this is December. December, some say that ever against the season comes wherein our Savior's birth is celebrated, the bird of dawning singeth all night long. William Shakespeare. Christmas was the best of all times to keep. On December 6th, St. Nicholas's birthday, we put up the Advent calendar and the Christmas pyramid. Anybody else have those incredible Christmas pyramids where you light candles and the air from the flames causes them to rotate? Sam Y, if you're watching this, you and I just had a conversation about these, but our good friend Silvio and Grit have little ones of these that they light at Christmas every year. We lighted the Advent wreath and had a St. Nicholas cake for tea. Oh my gosh, they're so romantic, these images of a time when actually life would have been really, really hard. Christmas Eve was a magical time. When dark fell, we stepped into the starlit night to follow a winding, lighted path of candles to an enchanting creche in the woods. So here they are, walking through the woods, and there's the creche. Oh my gosh. Speaking of blonde hair, blue-eyed Marys, as I so often do, And on Christmas night, we had the loveliest celebration of the year with the beautiful tree in a shine of candles to remind us of peace on earth and loving kindness. So when I was little, my grandma used to put up lots of trees. There was a big one in the living room, and then there were ones in other rooms. And the room that my cousins and I used to get to stay in, and my brothers too, would have a tree with candles on it. And Grandma would light the candles, and obviously we didn't leave it lit. But I have to say that while even as a little kid I understood that there was some danger to this, there is nothing like a tree with real candles on it. I've certainly never tried it.
Good.
Yeah. Particularly with an artificial tree. That seems like a terribly poor idea.
It's a terribly bad idea all around.
But I just want to say this before we go. Maz was scrolling through our local newspaper before we got on. And if you are at home today feeling bad about your lot in life because it's not Christmas as usual, pull open your newspaper and look at what other people are struggling with. We saw the murder of a 2-year-old. We saw a family where the mother has leukemia, the father has Parkinson's, and the daughter has Down syndrome, and they lost their home to a fire last night. We saw an update on the Lockerbie man who didn't gun the plane down, but bombed the plane down. I mean, we saw mostly terrible news. So if that can't help you remember to have a place of grace and gratitude in your heart, then spend today going through your blessings and not counting your losses.
One thing also, just I'm going to say this hopefully so no one feels completely alone at Christmas. The idea of, Dana pointed out, what reminded me is in mainland Europe they celebrate St. Nicholas Day before Christmas.
December 6th,
December
right?
the 6th, yeah. St. Nicholas was a Christian bishop of Greek descent who came through Ireland as well. He is, and this is why St. Nick actually became the idea of Father Christmas, because he used to bring gifts to everyone. But St. Nicholas, or St. Nick as he was called, is actually still to this day the patron saint of, and this is where I think encompasses everyone, sailors, merchants, archers, we know a few archers.
We do.
Repentant thieves, prostitutes, children, brewers, unmarried people, and students.
Wow.
Yeah. So that covers probably everyone you know.
Just about everyone.
So there you go. The idea of Saint Nick bringing everyone together, that's actually where it came from.
So, enjoy your day. Think about your favorite memories and write them down. You know, if you've got memories either recorded or written down by your parents or your grandparents, at no point are you thinking, boy, that was a waste of their time. You love having that stuff. I know you do because I do too. So take some time today. You have time today.
Yes.
Because you're not busy making a meal for 12 to 20 people. Take the time today, reflect on your favorite Christmases, your favorite memories, and spend some time in real gratitude for what you have. It's been a difficult, but in so many ways, blessed Christmas. So, happy Christmas, Merry Christmas. We'll see you on Monday to usher in the last week of 2020. Unbelievable. Enjoy your day.
Have a fantastic Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.